Hi, welcome back to Learn Payload with Colin. Today we're going to jump right back into our real estate marketplace platform that we've been working on over the last few days. And in our last video, we did our initial setup of the Payload app, which included Tailwind CSS version 4, as well as ShadCN for templates that we're going to eventually use for things like a dashboard, but also other components that you might be used to if you've used ShadCN before. And if you haven't, I'll go into more detail about the benefits of using that when we get to that. But yeah, it's going to provide a lot of templates for us for like all the authentication flow templates, login, create account, one-time password, reset password, all of that kind of stuff. But today, yeah, we've already finished that. I'm going to do a quick review of what we did in the previous video. Hopefully, we'll do that very quickly, and then we're going to move on to our first collection for our demo app of the real estate TennHomes, TENN Homes. The real estate agency, the fictitious one that we're creating for this series. And so, yeah, we're going to be creating our first collection. It's going to be the zip code collection. And we're going to do that first because it's a dependency for a lot of several other collections, particularly the properties collection, which we will do later, but I want to make sure we have all the dependencies out of the way. Give you an example. If you were creating a blog, let's say in WordPress, and you had categories associated with a blog, it would not be nice to have those categories already available to choose from when you start creating a post. And so likewise, in properties, you can think of a property as a kind of a blog post in a sense, but it will need a zip code to be able to define its location on a map, starting from a zip code. But once we have the zip code, you'll be able to choose the city and the state as well, and then add your street address. But we will move into that properties collection in a future video. Today we're talking about zip codes, and since our agency is part of or serving the East Tennessee area, I downloaded from USPS, which is a postal service here in the US. I downloaded a batch of zip codes and then filtered them down to only zip codes in the East Tennessee area. And I have it as a CSV file that I'm going to go through, and then we're going to take that CSV file and import it into a payload collection that we will seed. We will seed the zip code collection with all the zip codes that we downloaded for East Tennessee. So let's get right into it. We're going to create our first collection. Okay, so a quick review as promised. In our last video, we just did our initial setup of getting Payload CMS installed, as well as including Tailwind and ShadCN. So here in our app, we have the source folder and our components from ShadCN. In our app, we have the Payload admin section, which we never touch. This is all the responsibility of Payload. And then in the front end is our responsibility. We have the layout page and styles, which includes Tailwind. And so let's see. All right, so now let's get into creating our first collection. But to do that, I want to show you the ZipCodes data CSV file that I downloaded and filtered down to just the East Tennessee zip codes. So you open that up, and you can see here we have an ID, which we don't need. We have a code, which is the zip code, city, state abbreviation, state name, county, latitude, longitude, and estimated population. We may or may not use that, but why not? we'll include it in the collection anyway, in case you wanted to do like a zip code page that talks about all the demographics and including the estimated population. But you also have lat and long, so you can include a map on that page as well. So again, the zip codes you can find in many different sources. I got these from USPS website. So all right, we have the zip codes. We have 196 zip codes in East Tennessee. Kind of hard to believe, but that's what we have. So all right, so now we know we have a code, zip code, which is going to be a number. We have the city, obviously, is going to be text. State abbreviation is going to be text. State name, text. County, text. Latitude, longitude, numbers. Estimated population, number. Now, Payload CMS comes with a field type called point. And point allows you to store a lat and long together as one field in the database. I was thinking I would go down that route and do that, but my version of Postgres does not include that. There is a plugin you need to do that, and I'm not going to go through that right now, but it's just as easy to create two number fields for lat and long. And then we'll get into configuring the admin panel so that at least the lat and long are treated as related fields. So like some kind of group or something like that. And I'll go into more detail when we get to that point. So okay, we have the requirements we need for getting started on the zip code collection. So I moved everything, all the payload configuration options are going to be within this config folder. I discussed moving all of that into all of payload configuration options into this config. Collections, endpoints, email adapters, storage adapters, everything you can imagine that will ultimately be part of this payload config file will go into, well, the config folder. And so let's create our collection. We're going to create a folder for it because we may have some custom fields later on for that. And we want to co-locate them in the same folder. All right, so let's grab a collection here and then just start. We'll just copy this, paste it in here. We'll call this ZipCodes. And we'll just do this ZipCode code. It's not an auth. So far, so good. Yeah, and so let's see here. We have state abbreviations, state name, county, latitude. Let's just see if we can do this. Let's see if cursor will help us do that. All right, fairly straightforward for our first collection. Obviously, no, we want code to be a number. And city is going to be text, state abbreviation is text, state name is text, county text, latitude, longitude, numbers, estimated population, number. All right, so now let's import it now into our config file. Thank you, cursor. So ZipCodes, config, collections, ZipCodes, and then where are we? Oh, right here. ZipCodes. All right, so let's open this up in the browser. This is our modified homepage that we worked on yesterday, but let's go to the admin panel. Okay, we already created our first user in the last video. We said admin@example.com, admin123. Oops. Admin123. There we go. Never. All right, so we have users, media, and now we have the ZipCodes collection. Let's see here. Do I want to call it, where is it? I want to change the label of this to be a little bit clearer. And I think you can do labels like so. And there we go, ZipCodes. ZipCodes, ZipCodes. All right, let's create a new zip code. Let's go back to our CSV file. And we're going to do Andersonville, Tennessee, Anderson County. So we have our code, we have our city, and we have state abbreviation, state, county, latitude, longitude, and estimated population. All right, and let's save this. And there we go. We have our first zip code. And I'm going to record me entering all of these manually 196 times. Grab a cup of coffee and we'll do this. No, I'm kidding. We're going to do a seeder for this, and I'll go over that in a moment. But real quick, we have this. I want to change this estimated. I want to change the label for this. So if we go over to ZipCodes and let's see, latitude, longitude, estimated. I think admin. That's good. Let's see. Is there excellent, excellent. Maybe we'll add descriptions for all of these. Oops. Zip code of the zip code. No, we're not gonna do that. We don't want this. We don't need this. City of the zip code, state abbreviation of the zip code. Yeah, that's good. All right, next I want to tidy this up a little bit. Latin long kind of deserves to be in its own group. So let's head on over to the Payload CMS docs. We're going to go over to fields, and we're going to go over to group. Group is not an actual like database field, but allows you to nest them. No, that's not what I want. I want a row. I need a row. Yeah, exactly, row. It's exactly what I need. So we're going to have a field called row, and we're going to type in, so city, state abbreviation, and state name all belong. Oh, maybe county too. Let's see. Yeah, let's grab all of these as one row, like that, and then we're gonna wrap them in. We're gonna call this let's see, location. And type would be row, and fields as an array, and I think we can just paste those in there. I thought. What are we doing? Name. Do we need, maybe there is no name. What do we do? Oh. Okay. Let's see how that affected our, yeah, that's not too bad. City, state abbreviation, Tennessee County. What is that? How's that responsive? You do it responsively too. That's pretty cool. All right, now let's do the same for Latin long. That's easy enough. And there we go. And we'll just leave estimated population alone. All right, so we tidied this up a bit, and we wanted to make sure that zip code is going to be the title in the data table, and that was managed through this use as title. And yeah, so that's it. All right, so now we're going to create a seeder for this CSV file. We have this, we're going to create a seeder for that. And the way I like to do that in here is I like to create a data folder or a DB folder in here. And this will be database related features, all the configurations around database. And let's do that. So let's create a file called seed.ts. And for now, let's just console log to show you how I do this. No, we go into package JSON, and from here I create a, oh, there we go, seed right there. We don't need TS node. What we need is we're gonna do this. Copy one of these and just grab this payload. You can actually use payload as a wrapper around your own commands. So you don't have to worry about if you need to run a TypeScript file in the command line. You don't have to worry if your node version supports TypeScript, or you don't have to do you don't have to worry about any of that. So now if we get out of our dev server and then just type in p and pm, and then actually I like to prefix these with a db because we may have other database related scripts. So I'll just do db seed and just see what happens. We should be able to see that console log. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, we forgot the run keyword. You got to use run, which allows you, oops, no, seed, payload run, like that. That will allow you to run your own scripts using payload to execute it. Let's try now. All right, there's our console log seeding database. All right, so now let's create a function, an asynchronous function, seed, and move that down there. And then, let's see, then catch. This is where I like to, oops. Yeah, there we go. And then, oops. All right, let's try to do that again. Let's do that again. All right, so far so good. Now we are going to have this function here. And here we're going to create seeders folder. And in here we're going to do zipcodes.ts. And so for this, we're gonna use a package called CSV parser. Oops. And yeah, that's good for now. Let's install that. Oops. All right. Good. All right. And let's see. All right, so where's dir name? What I need to do is import that CSV file first. And let's see, so let's make sure. Let's move this CSV file into our Cedar folder with ZipCodes. All right, now copy relative path and do this. This should just be like that. And let's just make sure we have loaded it. Okay, we need to export that. We need to import this from our actual seed file. Let's see. All right, now it's imported. And there it is. Okay. ZipCodes. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we have the CSV file path, and now we need to create a stream. We're gonna create a read stream to be able to pipe it in each row. The stream will give us, it's gonna iterate over each row of the CSV file and let us do that. So let's see. And CSV parser is what allows us to, it will be kind of used as a kind of like middleware, where it inserts itself into the stream, captures the data, and then parses it out into a JavaScript object. So we'll do this. I'm just going to copy some of the code here, but I'll walk through all of it. All right, so we have, where's the zip codes? All right, we need to move this up here. All right, so I'm creating a promise which awaits and let's see, this way, so we can then resolve it when it's finished, the stream is finished. But basically, yeah, we're going to create a stream on this CSV file path. We're going to pipe in the CSV parser. So you can imagine streams being a series of pipes, and then you can insert, you can create a pipe, you can insert yourself into that pipe, like middleware, almost like middleware for the request of like a web request, and then you can grab the content of that stream and then massage it and then move it on down to the next pipe. And so this is this on data. This would be like the last, that would be the end of the pipe. And so now we have the data. And so we have zip codes now, and on end, zip codes length. Let's see if that, we should see 179, something like that, codes. Let's see here. Yeah. All right, let's try it one more time. Yep, 195 zip codes. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. So here we're just like, we're grabbing the zip out of the CSV file. Actually, no, it's called code. It's code. Maybe TypeScript would have been good. Code, city, state, abbreviation, state name, county, latitude, longitude, estimated population. City, state abbreviation. We're just gonna it's fine. We're gonna hard code Tennessee, that's fine. County, float. These are gonna be numbers basically. Although I don't want, we can just do number here and also number here, like so. And okay, let's make sure that still works. Yep, 195 zip codes. All right, let's log out just the first one. That's not gonna work. All right. All right. Well, yeah. We have our zip. Yeah, everything looks good. So now is the time to get it into Payload. So the first thing we do is we're going to seed it inside here, but we're going to pass the database client in here, Payloads client in here, so we don't have to, do it ourselves inside here. We're going to pass that into the seeding zip codes here, and then over here, yeah, we're gonna let's see. Let me move this into its own. You know what? We're not gonna use resolve here. Actually, we're not gonna use resolve. I don't think we need to do that. No, we do need resolve. Okay. And we're going to move, well, let's just do it right here. We're going to do it right here. Let's, we're going to do it right here. So first we're going to do for zip code or zip codes. We're going to pass through all of those. I don't think this would work, but yeah, that should work. This hopefully matches up with the payload client, but now we need to add the payload client into the seeder here. You can see it's not right, and no, I don't think that will work. Will that work? I don't know. No, we don't want that in there. Let's grab the requirements for the client, payload client. And that ought to do it. We're getting the config that we need, and we're getting get payload, although this needs to be combined into a single import. All right. I guess we don't need this for now. All right, so we've created a payload client, and then we're just going to pass it in into this zip code seeder. And real quick, I'll show you. This is what's called a local API. We're not going to be using the REST API, but we're going to use the local API, which I'll show you here. You can actually get it through the request object if you're using like a middleware, or we're basically doing this, and then from there you can update collections and stuff. So like down here you can see I'm doing a payload create collection zip codes, and then each zip code is just going to be added to the data object. So that's the requirement when you want to add data to a payload collection. You need the collection name and then the data requirements. You can set depth, locale. None of this stuff we really need, especially for this simple zip code collection. We don't care about access controls or authorization. We don't care about any of this stuff, pagination, all of that. So we're just going to create. I hope this should work. Let's open up the database. All right, we don't need to do that. Let's give it a shot. It'll probably break. Oh, I think it may have worked. Let's go back to our zip code and refresh. Oh, we need to. Okay. That's compiling again. Whoa, zip code not working. Okay. All right. Getting pretty close. Getting pretty close. So for some reason, oh, we called this code. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. We also need to, so when we run the seeder, we're going to want to delete all the data before we add more data. If I were to run this again, it's just going to keep appending all those zip codes to the table. In fact, we can, just to be on the safe side, what we want to do is make sure we want to make sure that the zip code is actually unique. So, and this will prevent us accidentally adding a zip code that is the same from one that's already in the collection. Let's just make sure that updates this might actually do an alteration to the database, so let's just check that. If I reload this and it sort of prompts me to accept the change or not, then we know it's safe. Yep. Okay. So now we're going to rerun the seeder, but we first need to delete all of the collections. So we go into our seeder, clear all collections. That should work. Yeah. So just give it a collection name and any how do you want to filter those out? Basically, we're saying delete all of them. If you were to add, I don't know, some city, maybe you only wanted to delete zip codes from a certain city, you can do that here. Like where city equals Nashville, for instance. Nashville, of course, is not in East Tennessee, so this is actually a good example, but you do need this. It's kind of a weird thing to have that be as a requirement, but if you're not filtering out, like, why even have this? But we'll just do it. Okay, so we have zip codes being deleted first. So we do clearing zip codes collection first. And we can roll this up we can abstract this out into another function, but when we start having a lot more seeders, like for users and properties, we'll move this into its own function, so that you just say clear collections or something like that, and then you add all of these in there. But we're not going to get too optimized right now. Oh, sorry. Wrong command. All right, so let's see if this worked this time. Now we got to do npm run dev. Loading. All right, 195 zip codes. If we were to run this again, okay, go back to dev. Because we have unique on that zip code, it wouldn't have, the seeder would have broken anyway if it wouldn't have let us do it. But yeah, we're still at 195. Great. So now they're all imported. All right, so the next step is we're going to move into the properties collection. And in our next video, we're going to start on the properties collection using zip codes as a relationship field. And that'll give me an opportunity to talk about payload field relationships. And so that'll be a good one. If you're just jumping in and you haven't seen any previous videos, just know that we're building a real estate platform, a fictitious one called TennHomes, T-E-N-N Homes. I'm using it as a template. When it's done, it's all going to be completed and production ready and everything. We're going to have actual deliverable features that real agents want. And so I have a couple from my contracting work. I do work with a couple real estate agents who might be interested in something like this. And so I'm going to shop this around as a template, as a demo app for them, and see if we can get them on board, and maybe even get some feedback too. We let them be test users. But so that's what I'm working on. If that's the kind of thing that you're interested in, make sure you subscribe, click that notification, of course, to get notified, because I'm going to be doing a lot of these videos. And so, yeah, you're going to want to see those. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.